Do you think it was a smart strategy for Joe Biden to drop out of the election?
We're more divided during this time than any other time in history.
Election season or whatnot. What else crazy can the American people handle?
If Sexy Red is black, Kamala Harris is black. Anything that divides us further is the war. It's the main issue.
He push past those feelings and he think about his vision. He think about his will, his plan, his ideas and shit. He execute. That's man.
If it's a problem, it's a solution.
That's not acceptable for men to do.
I'm building, I'm writing down my goals, and I'm executing, I'm on my mission, tunnel vision.
I like the setting of man to man. Man, it's just like a safe space to just speak freely upon everything.
Like we talk like men. Peace, family. Welcome to another episode of the Man to Man podcast where we talk as guys. And today I'm here again with my good brother, Mr. 19 Keys. Peace to the guy.
Hand, but we got the fire a little high this time.
You already know, man. Well, first, before I get started, man, I want to let y'all know that today I feel good. I feel great. I feel excellent. I feel black. Black-tastic. And you know why, though? It's Leo season.
Oh, man. I thought you was about to say a real reason.
Nah, it's really Leo season, man. I'm letting y'all know now. I'm activated. My birthday is next
Bro,
week.
we got more important things in this world to worry about.
My birthday is a holiday. I'm gonna need all y'all to celebrate with me next week. Nah, for real. Because you always talking about the tourist season.
No, that's different.
No,
tourist
that
season
shit is
like
over
for real.
It's dead. It's
tourist
big Leo
season,
energy.
No, listen.
Yes.
Tourist season is like masculine.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
good.
But after tourist season, that's like the baddies and stuff.
Nah, cut it out, man. You know, first of all, man, everybody loves Leos, but it have been a lot of things, serious things going on this past week. I had put up a post. I must have did it too early because a lot of your viewers was pissed off at me because I was the first person on the planet to announce that your boy Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential election. And everybody got mad at me. They say y'all giving out false news because CNN ain't reported.
Well, they didn't know that I had a friend of mine that had close sources to the White House. Actually told me this. This is why, you know, we posted the article in the first place. It wasn't just based on seeing something random on the internet whatsoever.
Yeah. It
was trusting the close source. And so, you know, we were first, you know, to drop that. And then of course, you know, people were mad. Some people told I'm gonna follow y'all, fake news, and this is probably the problem. Everybody want to yell fake news. It's not even knowing. They say they don't like Donald Trump, but Donald Trump is the one who came up and coined that fake news. So now you're using his propagandist terms, you know what I mean, to try to discredit your brother because we're doing our jobs.
Can I ask you something though, bro? With this, you know, election season or whatnot, what else crazy can the American people handle?
Honestly,
it's been a lot of twists and turns within these last 2 weeks for sure. You got Donald Trump getting shot, you got Joe Biden dropping out, and now they just announced that Kamala Harris is running.
And on top of that, what's most likely going to happen is Joe Biden is going to concede the presidency to Kamala Harris. She becomes the first president. And I talked about this on the previous Man to Man, how this is the most likely theory that she's going to be running for president as a president, right? Which bolsters her entire campaign, right? And but as you were saying that we are over consuming without digesting.
Yeah.
And it is a leading cause of stress and conflict during this time, right? Because every week there's a major news cycle. And the amount of time to digest that data, like people that the head of the Secret Service had just resigned, right? They had a hearing and she barely had any comprehensible, you know, data to give as they were trying to check her. And so I think we're going to see an interesting timeline that goes to that later on. But it's like the people are still, right, as they're reeling over one thing, another thing comes, another thing comes, another thing's come. And it's really been feeling that way for a very long time in America. And this keeps the people in high stress. It keeps your nervous system active.
Yeah.
Right. I talked about this with Memphis Depay, that when your nervous system is constantly active and on alert, then it keeps you in a high anxiety and a stress field, right? Which is very unhealthy, and Americans are already unhealthy. And so you're not making decisions based on, right, from a place of peace and a place of safety and relaxation, which comes true joy. And this is why we have a lack of joy in America. You're making it based on from a place of fear and trauma. and being constantly re-triggered. So I think that this election and election seasons are very dangerous for the mental and spiritual health, right, of Americans. And this is a time where you have to be very careful about your mental and spiritual health, because they're high anxiety.
When you say it's
cloud.
dangerous for our spiritual health, can you expound on that?
Yeah, well, our ability to breathe, right? Spirit is key. It's chi, it's qigong. So when you're talking about being able to breathe, when you can relax. And in that state of relaxation, that's when you're present, right? Most of the things we think about in the future don't actually come true, but we constantly keep future anxiety, right? This lack of feeling of control over future events keeps that anxiety high. And so your spirit needs to relax. Your spirit needs to be reset. Your spirit needs to, I can breathe again. So let me focus on what do I really want? What are my desires? What are my needs that I need to take care of? Let me play in my imagination. Like, we're not in a state of joy in America whatsoever. We're in a constant state of stress, and we're getting used to that as a baseline. And I think that it's eroding the spirit, right? Even when you go back to earlier times, when we were younger, America has always had racism, right? But there was still a spirit in America, an American ingenuitive spirit, a spirit that you can dream and anything is yours, right? That's been the spirit since Obama became president. He took office. We would think that American dream and that spirit is well alive. But today that spirit seems dead. It seems like it's just corporations and big pharma and governments that's running America, and the people aren't running it whatsoever. And we're more divided during this time than any other time in history. And that's because we're not just divided by race, right? The racial division is one thing, but then you're talking about identity politics and culture wars and sexual preferences and sex, right? And then class. And then we're talking about, political parties. There's so many different divisions today that it's the divided states of America, and anything that America stood for in any, previous period of America's height, it definitely feels like a nation on the brink of collapse.
I've been following both candidates and whatnot. I actually been following all four of them. Two of them they don't really talk about, so we're going to focus on Trump and Kamala right now. And both of their campaigns, me personally, it don't resonate with me as being a black man in America. But today I seen that Kamala Harris had a call for black men, and over 50,000 of them jumped on this Zoom call with her and raised over $130,000 within 13 minutes. Do you think these black men are like really paying attention to the campaign, or do you think they just proud to vote because she's a black woman?
There's a social identity theory, right? It comes from Henry Tajfels. And it explains how individuals derive part of their identity from their group memberships, which leads to intergroup conflict. He demonstrated that people categorize themselves as others into groups, leading to us versus them mentality. This is the in-group favoritism and the out-of-group discrimination, which fuels societal conflicts. So when we look at it, there's always been in-group favoritism. Right now, the in-group favoritism is everybody who is for Kamala Harris, and then on Donald Trump's side, everybody who's for Donald Trump. Yeah. People who's out of the group get discriminated against, right? And this fuels the conflict because part of people's identities is based on these memberships that they have vis-a the Democrat and the Republicans, right? And so you're going to see things get worse and worse. Now, when I look at the black man that was on that call, or as I hear about it rather, because I have my thoughts about it, first of all, I have to find positive in everything. That's the way my mind works. And what I think we're doing right now, and because we can't go back from this moment, is we setting the precedents. We're setting the precedents on the way that we solve our problems. And the way that we solve our problem now has to be, okay, let's unify, which is let's get on the call. Let's talk about a common agenda. Let's organize the strategy and let's fundraise so there's money behind that as well, which brings it to life.
Yeah.
Now, and this wasn't just, some articles said there was 45,000 black men raised 103 million, or a million, 1.3 million. Another time there was an article that said that black women raised $1 million, 40,000 or 44,000 black women rather.
Yeah.
And on both cases, like I said, I have to look at this. These are a lot of political case studies on how both sides are moving right now. They pulling out their best strategy, their best stops. And I'm like, okay, well, what this does is, and I want to read you a tweet, is it sets precedence on how we have to examine ourselves and move going forward. Because this is the first time in history that I've heard such fundraising and strategizing and such a quickness, right? Number one, actually, to be honest, I'm not impressed by the dollar amount because there's not a lot of money for 45,000
compared to how much
people.
Trump raised.
Yeah, that's like an average. Well, not even about Trump. That's like an average of $25 per person. Yeah, I mean, if you got 45,000 people, I don't want to bring no 45,000 people together to raise $1 million. The impressive part was the fact that you got that many people. At least it was reported as that many people. Now, I know it wasn't 45 actual black men because the call was still open to whoever wanted to be on there. So there's women, different races, things of that nature. But I think it was a smart strategy to say, here's 45,000 black men, because what it does is it gathers all this energy around it. And then the same thing with women. Of course, it wasn't just 45,000 women, because I've seen women on Twitter that were white saying, hey, I was on there Mexican or whatever. But it pushes all this energy around it. And now you have this story.
Now, speaking of smart strategy, do you think it was a smart strategy for Joe Biden to drop out of the election?
Hell yeah, that was the best thing that Joe Biden has done since he became president.
Because I feel like this situation definitely snatched the headline from Trump getting shot.
Well, that's what they've been fighting. It's been headline wars.
Yeah.
Right? Headline wars has been, look, Donald Trump got, first it was Project 2025. It was the debate. Who won the debate? Donald Trump was trending. Joe Biden was trending for the wrong reasons. Donald Trump, 2025 became the next strategy. I'm like, ooh, the Democrats hit him with that one. Okay, I see y'all. Now that became the overall conversation, right? Taking over things, putting Trump back into the defensive.
Yeah.
Then Trump come outside, almost get shot. Wait a minute, what's going on? He dodging bullets like the Matrix, allegedly. And then after that, Donald Trump looked like he on top of the game, the RNC, right? Yeah. But what happened was he announced his vice pick, J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance don't look like somebody who like black people, I'll be honest with you. Now, I know all you brothers that's voting for Donald Trump and y'all, Trump warriors and everything, but I don't think J.D. Vance like you. But that's just my take. They said he also married an Indian woman. He might like Kamala more than he like you all. But that's for another conversation.
Now, I seen that an Ohio senator named George Lang, he mentioned that he feared that if Donald Trump loses this election, that would be a civil war.
He said that and didn't try to take it back. See, there's been a lot of...
And I think,
that's something that I've said before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You say he tried to take it back, but he put that thought out there already.
Yeah, but that's something that has been a thought, number one.
Yeah.
But you got to look at the language that they're using. Man, listen, I hope everybody taking this serious. This is why when I put on Instagram, I said, let's not make this a thing that divides us further, because anything that divides us further is taking us backwards, right? I would be happy at war, but being friends with my sisters, at war with the rest of the world, but friends with my sisters, then this divides us further because we already have an issue with the black family being divided. So anything that divides us further is the war. It's the main issue.
Woo.
Right? So we have to figure out, right, how do we start communicating to each other respectfully? And the issue is that during times of this, right, times where people can't control, the economy is crazy, interest rates is high, right, corporations are snatching all the houses in America, it's a very uncertain future. People hold on to identity, nationalism way more, things that they can't control. And then these become points of proudness that people start fighting each other off of. Race, sex, gender, right? Sexual preference, all these different things. But I'm not about to fight black women. I don't have it in me. I'm not.
I mean, we ain't doing that, no way.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm not about to be arguing back and forth with black women on Twitter. I'm not about to be arguing on Instagram. All I see is a house divided. Now, I want us to be as smart people. I want us to be to where we take a step back and we like, can we think for a second? Can we just I know everything is going on, and this is the problem. You asked me about the spirit. The spirit needs time to rest and recharge because you can't be operating at your peak if you never got any time to rest. We wake up thinking about this stuff. We have to wake up and thinking about each other and the family, right? To where it's like, all right, let me think. I know everybody telling me, no, man, don't think. No, I can't do that because a general and a warrior has to strategize. And to strategize, you have to take a step back
and look at the
you have to look at the field, right? And then you run your campaign from there because the campaign, the strategists, that's what they're doing. But the problem is the people are not picking up, right? Because they're not knowing that they're being used as tools and fools. And my problem is not I ain't gonna say whoever you vote for because I think that there's a dangerous precedence that we setting with this election for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that what you need to do is focus on what you can get. Right? There's what you're against as an enemy and then what you can get.
When it comes to, you just said the key word, the campaign. What should these campaigns be centered around? Because I seen both sides, you know what I'm saying, talking points and, you know what I'm saying, what they want to do, their agendas and whatnot. And like I said, it don't resonate with me as a black man. So what do you think should be the next strategic thing for one of these candidates to do when it comes to their campaign?
Well, I'm going to tell you the smartest thing. Like, ask me directly, why do you think that there's so much division as far as black men not being really energized? And I'm talking about a larger group of black men. There's a group of black men that I think would be energized to vote. I think they would be energized to be a part of a collective group membership to where we're saying, hey, brothers, this is what we're starting to do because this is what we're going to get. I think like black male leadership is missing, right? I know that this particular campaign that they're pushing is about a woman getting her chance to be president, right? Now, I think that we have to be careful. And I've always said this, no matter who it is. Matter of fact, when it was Hillary Clinton, it was I'm with her campaign. And I'm like, we have to be very careful, right, in how we think. Because our future, right, is the most important because we're at the bottom. So we can't afford to be making mistakes. We can't be affording, right, waiting years and years and years to get things right. But we have to be careful saying that we're going to vote with somebody just because they have a darker complexion. And the reason we know that that's true is because those same people who say vote because this is a black woman, they wouldn't vote for Candace Owens, right? They wouldn't vote for just any black woman. They're going to vote for somebody who believes that they think that has their best interests at heart and are part of what they believe the same culture, same values. Now, there's the collegiate class that say, well, she's part of the HBCU, right? The Greeks that say, well, she's part of a sorority, right? And then some people say, well, she's from the Bay. I think I don't have an issue with how people run their campaigns in the sense that you're going to do what you got to do to win.
Yeah.
I just want us to be smart enough to know that you set a dangerous precedent when you say the reason that you're voting for somebody is because they're female or they're black. She's first generation American, right? Jamaican father, black mother, or a white mother, or Indian mother rather, right? And the question becomes, and I've said this a long time ago, you have to accept everybody as black if you don't create any standards for what it means. And so if Sexy Red is black, Kamala Harris is black. No, listen, because listen.
I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying.
I get the analogy.
Black, Kamala Harris is black.
So this is the season where we need to find our tribe, basically.
It's the season where you need to define your tribe. Right? Because you have to define who you are right? So you will know who's with you.
Yeah.
So if you don't know who you are and you don't define what you stand for, then there's gonna be a lot of people standing around you. You think that they with you, and it's not true. So when we say black, are we talking about a lineage of history of being with Black America? Are you talking about melanin, right? And being a citizen of America? Are we talking about people who subscribe to a good culture or people who subscribe to a bad culture?
Right.
Because we've accepted the rappers, we've accepted the female rappers, we've accepted the niggas, we've accepted so many things. We have a standard for nigga excellence, not true cultural, good cultural Black excellence. So in that sense, she's Black because we don't really have a standard for it. Now, if we had a standard for it, we can say, wait a minute now, when you bring up the Stokely Carmichaels and you bring up the Marcus Garveys, right? And you bring up the Bob Marleys and whoever you want to bring up to where Black people have accepted, even though that they were, they come from different backgrounds, it's because of what they contributed to the culture, right? What they fought for, what they stood for, and the values that were aligned with us. So I have a mixed way that I'm looking at this, and I'm trying to take a step back and look at it. And so, because I think that it's a very dangerous platform that both of them have. And I think who's actually going to get the lowest end of the stick here is Black men.
All right, so moving on to another topic. Elon Musk was on an HBO show called Real Time with Bill Maher. And, during this interview, Maher asks Elon Musk, what does he mean when he says the woke mind virus? And like in this clip, he was basically telling Maher that his son had passed away after he was tricked into signing documents that made him take hormone pills, which killed him. And, his son was a trans man or whatnot. And Elon Musk heard about it. He say he vowed to destroy the woke mind virus, And, the woke mind virus is anything that is suppressive of free speech, so anything that ties back to liberals thinking and all of that. What's your thoughts on this? Do you feel like men just tired of all of the weak feminine agendas being pushed on them and they just ready for their manhood?
Well, this goes into the reason why, and this is what I really just want people to understand and listen to, is that somebody who observes and who listens and who a participant in this world, I can see things and I analyze things, try to dissect them in a way to where I can have an understanding. It's for the purpose of seeking truth. And a brother of mine asked me today, like, why is there so many Black people going for Donald Trump and like being Republican?
Yeah.
And I had to explain to him, I'm like, can't tell you for sure, because I don't think people are really good at explaining a lot. But I can tell you that the Democrats have done a very disappointing job, and that Black people have really been tired of Democrats for a long time. But specifically, and I think Trump's success represents the Democrats' failure. If anything, it doesn't really represent Trump's success. It represents the Democrats' failure. And I think what's happened specifically with Black men and what's going on with the world, we have a very progressive world that pushes, these new values that they cater to, right? Destroying any of the masculine identity of the world by proxy of fighting against the patriarch. And I think what you don't understand is that as a young male that grows up in this world, when you have a world that is fighting against the patriarchal intellect, leadership, rulership, thought process, right? You're also crushing the spirit of the boy to become a man and become the patriarch in his own household. Because what has happened is that as you fight to destroy one thing and you say replace that with another, while you saying patriarch is bad, matriarch is good. Well, that can't be true. Patriarch itself is not bad, right?
Yeah.
Matriarch itself is not bad. The problem is that there's a strain, and there's been a strain in the Black community on the matriarch for years, for decades. Our mothers were overworked. Our mothers that had to lead lead the house, they got sick. They sometimes got disease. Sometimes they died early. Like, there's so much strain that's been on the matriarch in our community.
Yeah.
And the issue has been today, the patriarch, and I'm speaking the Black community specifically, right, is that we have not had the patriarch take leadership in the family dynamic enough. And we've been fighting each other, right? And so when the white patriarchal rulership is challenged by, right, women of this world through programs like feminism and the women's movement, right? Me Too movements and things of that nature. What also gets destroyed along with that, because is masculinity. And I'm glad you asked that question, because Black men have the highest rate in homicide, victimization, prostate cancer, hypertension, diabetes, HIV, incarceration, police encounters, unemployment, poverty rate, school
and nobody campaign is about that.
Dropout rates, untreated depression and anxiety, suicide rates, homelessness, lung cancer, colorectal cancer, liver cancer, stomach cancer, kidney cancer, multiple myeloma, and more and more and more. I can keep going, unfortunately.
That's crazy.
And so it's like, wait a minute. Not being able to take care of your house, not high unemployment rates, your brothers, uncles, fathers dead in jail, mental issues of the highest rate, suicide rates of the highest, depression. And so while there's this fight where they say, hold on, go fight for women's rights, go fight for gay rights, go fight for trans rights, go fight for everybody else's rights. And it's like, wait a minute, nobody's made this right. And then it becomes, wait a minute, well, that's your job. You a man. Wait a minute. Y'all fighting against being a man. So the man, and especially when we have this soy-based society, testosterone rates are at 50% low. So with that molecule that makes you want to take the challenge, and we have the biggest challenge of everybody in the world. So what do men want the most right now? They want to at least feel like a man. And so this is what a lot of, and I ain't saying that this is right whatsoever, but this is why a lot of people are going over to the Republican side, because they believe
they're radical.
they believe that they're fighting for patriarchy. They believe that they're fighting for manhood. And they believe that the left, right, are the ones pushing the progressive ideas, like what Elon Musk said, his son, right, became trans. Right? So when he said the woke mind virus, that's what his idea of what he's fighting against. So when we look at these things, and those who are on these campaigns, is how are you going to address Black men issues? The ones I just listed off, right? Not by directly solving them, but creating opportunities and erasing the blockades and barriers, right, that cause such issues. We're not seeing enough case studies. We're not seeing enough awareness. We're not seeing legislation and bills and advocacy and concerned groups marching towards that. So on one hand, they're going to make this thing about, and they have made this about, women's bodies. But as I just laid out, nobody cares about the Black body until he's laid out in the street and used as a pawn politically for campaign. And so I just think that we need to keep all these things in mind. I'm speaking to Black men now. I think we are the generation that has to solve our problems. And when we see 45,000, at least what is reported, Black men get on the call, that's what we need to learn, how to put out that call to ourselves. Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan did it at the Million Man March. We did it multiple times with Black caucuses and Tavis Smiley, and there's always been this advocacy. And the thing is, though, once we do it, yes, we need each other, but we're gonna need our women too. There ain't gonna be no movement that's gonna ever be successful without the Black woman by our side. She was the one organizing for us. Now, the Black Panthers Party was politically mostly made up of women. So there's not going to be a movement in America where Black men get themselves together by themselves. Nah, because we get together and we talk, but it'd be the women that help us execute as well, because they'd be the ones taking down the North, organizing, getting things together on the back end, and then we stand on the front, right, with full leadership and rulership. So it ain't never just been patriarchy and revolution. It's always been a godtriarch. Patriarch and matriarch standing side by side. So you know what? Kamala Harris need to pick up Cornel West for vice president.
All right, now, speaking of these 44,000 or 50,000 Black men that joined this car, I seen that
Was you on the car?
No, I ain't get on the car, man. We was actually handling some business on our end. On our end, we do for self, man. We gonna figure out a way to keep our infrastructure going, but my good brother Red Pill had made a post, and he say, with all of the money that they raised for Kamala, these black brothers could have did the same thing for their own neighborhoods a long time ago. Because obviously they know that they can come together and they got the funds to do it. And they could have rebuilt their neighborhood within 6 months. The way that they raised this money overnight for her. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's too late. I think that it wasn't 81 million. I think that she's getting sued right now, or so-called leave about to get sued by Donald Trump because she took over the campaign funds from Donald by changing it to Kamala for president, from Biden from president. And, you know, they saying basically that you shouldn't be able to do that anyway. But, you know, raising $1.3 million is a small thing. It's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? It's not at all. I think what's more important, if you got 81 million, first of all, I want to see how people spend that money. Like, I would love to see a breakdown of how you go and spend $300 million. Where does it go? Where does that money flow into? There's black media. Black media don't get $1 from these places. And this is probably what a lot of black people
I think that was the point of his tweet, that's saying, like, if we can do this for her overnight, how come we haven't been doing this together?
But listen, that's our responsibility, and that's something that we need to do moving forward. Now we got this, and I'm glad it happened, because now we got this to point to.
Yeah, a reference point, yeah.
Right? Now we can say, well, look at this. Let's do this again. Right? And until we do that again, I don't want to hear no complaint. So even as I'm addressing things, these are not complaints. I'm inspired as far as the way we go about organizing and getting things done. We focus on high impact items, leaders that's already committed and organized, and we give them the proper funding so that they can make more impact. We look at the list of issues that we have that directly impact us, and then we figure out how we can dismantle those institutions that cause those issues and how we can bring down those numbers. Because black men should not be, you know what I mean, at the front of the race when it comes to death. We have to make sure that we at the top when it comes to economics. We at the top when it comes to wealth. We at the top when it comes to health. We at the top when it comes to joy. We at the top when it comes to mental, right, clarity, right? Like, we gods. We can't be at the bottom of the bottom. What the hell going on? This is why America is suffering, because the black man is at the bottom. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, we
gotta rise back to the top,
and we gotta quit dreaming and start working.
We got to. You know, we broke that down. We black men got to break out of this boy man syndrome, and once we do that, I think that we're gonna be good. And having transformative agendas and putting together organization and putting money behind that and executing. That's the formula and that's the framework. That's our project 2025 that we have to do, is work on ourselves and execute. And once we're in position as well, we're going to be able to take care of our women. We're going to be able to take care of our households, lead our women, protect them. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a sad state of affairs that we're in right now. And I think that you can go point to everybody else and all these problems, but our brothers and our uncles and our fathers and things of that nature should not be in a position that we in today. We have fell too low, and we have to take this like we in the Olympics. It's time for us to rise to the top. Yeah. And so I'm talking beyond the vote, right? If all black men and women want to go vote for Kamala, you go do so. Just gonna make sure that you get something tangible for it. But what I'm talking about is voting for self, right? I'm talking about taking your money and circulating with each other. I'm talking about having group economic projects. And it's not about who's the most significant. It's about the contribution to the community, right? So that we can create an impact and make change. Because you may think you're good with your dollars. You may think you're good with your little money. That little money ain't nothing, right? Wait till your son don't want to be a man. Wait till your son is messed up in the head. Wait till he diseased. Wait till he falls under this list categorically. And then you're going to wish you made a change. And so if a party is not addressing black men issues, then I don't care about neither. I don't hear Donald Trump ain't about to change nothing for black men in America. Not about to make it better. Kamala Harris is not about to make it better for black men in America. So my challenge is to us to get our ass up. You know what I mean? And if we can organize to fund political campaigns, then we can organize to fund, economic campaigns as well that change the opportunities that we're able to provide to each other. That's going to be, think about how powerful that is. 50,000 black men get together, you know what I mean, to start a factory, get together to build our land, get together to, revitalize neighborhoods and and buy up houses so that they can become the biggest, landlords of Black America. Like, let's figure out a plan of action, and the only thing left is to execute.
Now, when it comes to, like
Shout
I
out
said,
to my brother New Era Detroit.
We've been having a lot of headline wars and whatnot, and I see that you had interviewed RFK, and we got a new episode coming out with the good brother Cornel West. Do you feel like you can give a jewel that he dropped on this episode that's coming out?
You trying to get some jewels?
Oh yeah, why not?
Brother Cornel West, I call him Counselor West. He was on the Matrix. He was actually telling me how the Wachowski brothers, they was the brothers at the time, they the sisters now.
Yeah.
But the Wachowski brothers said they called him because, part of the film was based on some of his philosophies. And the brother is a philosopher. He actually knew my great aunt and my cousin. And when I think about it, and this is what got me to this point, we need more philosophical ideology that can bring us together under ideas, right? There's Marxism, there's communism, there's socialism, right? There's all of these isms and ideologies today. But what is the one that we have in common that we want to rule our future? And so as we was having an exchange, and he called me a great philosopher, that means a lot coming from that brother, to be honest with you. But as we thinking about it, I'm like, okay, what are our philosophies? We have Black philosophers, and he named so many during the conversation, ones that I had never heard of. And we talked about, went deep into philosophy. I think it's going to be eye-opening for a lot of people. But I'm like, okay, we are really running our world and running our culture on another man's philosophy. And the problem is that it has to be customized. This ideology has to be customized towards, our program of do for self, has to be customized based on identity and circumstances to where we know exactly what we're fighting for. And I think that the part of this division that we have in the community, because I'm maturing like everybody else, it's our lack of, right? It's our lack of vision, our lack of ideology, and our lack of shared values and philosophy that we can clearly state, this is what we're doing during this time. See, it's easy, and it becomes very clear to people sometimes when you're fighting against a known enemy. If you got a racist in front of your face, you're saying, we go unite to get this racist out of our face. It's easy. It's easy when you can point to white supremacy and say, yo, let's fight against white supremacy. But when you have to govern your economic ideas around something, right? What is it? How do we want to build an economy? What do we believe in? Right? Like when you go look at different Black revolutionaries, someone was Marxist, someone was communist, someone was socialist. And so today, though, we don't hear more of that conversation about how we need to govern our world. The Black Panther parties believed in a free lunch because they believed that people should have access to resources for free and it should be given, right, by society and just based on your membership within it. And so, but what are those ideas we have now? Are we just capitalists? Like, what are we going to do? And so I'm inviting organizers, I'm inviting activists, I'm inviting philosophers and intellectuals, right, to please share your platform and share your mind with me so we, right, can write out our ideas and deliver that to the people so that we can come under, right, one shared philosophy, one shared ideology that we can push towards the group that wants to be under the same membership of that cause so we can move forward, right? And it has to be, and I know that there are many, and maybe there's a framework that we pick from the many, but I would love for the people to vote on that in the sense that we'd be like, okay, this is what we believe in, this is what we can move forward on, and it's going to require some educating to do so.
So as we come to to the end of this episode, I wanted to ask one last question. It's kind of personal, but it's basically just the wrap up of July. We got one more week left in July, and I wanted to know, what's your goal for this last week? What do you want to get done within this last week? At the end of July.
Well, personal goals right now, I have a few things. I have to finish out a full collection that I have to present. I really want to, I'm constantly having this conversation about philosophy because I'm studying deep right now. And once I do that, part of my process is I go around, I ask these questions, and the answer comes to me. It comes to me like a thief in the night. You feel me? Like a spark of inspiration, an idea, because what I realize I'm a philosopher at heart. I'm a revolutionary and a philosopher. You know, I like thinking, right? I'm in love with knowledge. I'm in love with the process of learning and the process of knowledge. And I feel like a fool when I'm not learning, right? I feel as if I don't know anything most of the time because I realize how much there is to know. And so I want to have very clear ideas about my future and the future of society that I can fight for the rest of my years on with my platform and my energy and my spirit and my voice. Yeah. So that may not be achieved this week, but it's what's on my heart and my mind the most right now. And working to communicate my ideas to the world and the Black community to be understood, to not be divisive, to not say things in a way that I don't mean to say them, but, you know, to make sure that my word is bonded by my heart so I stand up for any word that I say. I think that that's the main key. What about you, man? How you gonna end up your July?
Like I told y'all at the start of the show, you know, next Tuesday is my birthday. You know, it's big Leo season. But I got something that I've been working on, you know, for the past few months, you know, musically. And, you know, a lot of people was asking me when I was going to drop some music. They've been saying, you work on your music. They've been saying the good brother Bashir drop a few projects. A lot of people kept reaching out, asking when I'm going to drop one. So I wanted to surprise everybody with a link on Tuesday. And on top of the link, I'm relaunching my book. And it's a self-help book. So my book was really like dedicated to young adolescent man who basically trying to get on the straight path in life, you know, coming from a life of trauma or crime or whatnot. And they're trying to do a 180, not a 360, but a 180. They're trying to change their life. I gave a few of my steps that I took in this book. And then for the people who don't really know me and you personally, I feel like they'll get to know me in this book. Cause you know, I try to keep everything on brand when we on camera. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Give a good presentation or whatnot. Cause I know I'll be saying in the comments, they be eating me up in the comments.
What you think about all the people that say you fake?
I don't really get that at all. I don't know what people that you see. That was a good, funny question, though. You tried it, but I don't really get that. But a lot of people do be saying, like in the comments, I be saying them talk their shit. They say Keys is using me. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all now, like, a lot of times y'all don't know that me and my brother probably had this conversation that we having on the Man to Man earlier in the day. So by the time we get to the show, I'm tired. I'm gonna ask him the question so he can get y'all.
No, I think what it is
and that they need to separate these two shows. This is not a high level conversation. This is the Man to Man where I take real issues that's going on throughout the week, viral posts, and we're gonna have a conversation about it.
I think that what people need to realize.
Yeah.
Number one, I already have a show where I sit down from people who are of all different intellects and backgrounds.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm going to shine regardless. You know what I mean? It could be the smartest person in the world, 19 Keys, going to be 19 Keys. When I sit down with Steve, the whole point of wanting to do this show is to show a different side, but also have a nuance to where we can get out ideas, sometimes news, keep it fresh. And with you, I just be wanting you to just be relaxed and be yourself. Mm. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel like you go into like this news anchor kind of like vibe, and I'm like, nah, just be Steve. You feel me? Because if I'm going to be on the platform, then I'm going to use the time on the platform. You feel me? And so, you know, you might not be on the type of time I'm on, but then you should have just been relaxed and chilling if that's the case. But like in a day like this, I want to talk about the Kamala situation. I got stuff that's on my mind. You feel me? So I want to use this platform, which is one that people come regularly to listen to. But at the same time, I want you to talk about stuff that you actually interested in and say it in a way that you normally would say off the camera. You feel me? So I think that that's more so the more important part. And so, you know, honestly, the comments that call you ugly and short and stupid,
Get the fuck out
I don't
of
even listen to those.
All right, man. This
You know
is
what
the
I'm
end of the episode of the Man of the Podcast, man. I appreciate my good brother. Like I said, man, if y'all, you know, want to support, make sure y'all follow both of us on Instagram.
Oh, make sure y'all go
to like, share, and subscribe.
19keys.com. So when these drop and all the new stuff drop, you can be the first to find out and know. So I appreciate y'all.
So for the link for the book and the new album that I'm dropping on Tuesday, July 30th, all you got to do is go to my Instagram at Steve Jones AFNL. Click the link in the bio. I'm have everything already set up. All you got to do is click the link. And you can pay whatever you want for the album.
Welcome to the Man to Man Podcast. Talk like God. Man to Man. If you're going to jump into Crownz Society, you're saying that I represent power, I represent knowledge of self.
Stepping in the name of drip, get ready with me. Stepping in the name of drip, get ready.
I wear the crown to just symbolize, like, I know who I am, I know why I'm here, I know my purpose.
It's abundance, it's royalty, it's prosperity, it's energy.
Put in. Yeah. I gotta walk with my head held high because you gotta see this and you gotta see this.
I believe that if anybody wants to be able to protect their mind and be able to think freely, you gotta get Crownz Society today, man.
Neo after the blue pill, the color palette's all black. James Bond mixed with Malcolm X in my Che Guevara era.